one of the co-organizers of 1 Million Cups. Joined today by Brian Mayer. We've got a couple other co-organizers from the country. And starting next week, we'll have a bunch more new co-organizers of this event, so I'm excited about that. So we want to try something new here, and 1 Million Cups is all about community. So we were thinking that starting off every week, just kind of have everyone kind of share who they are, what company you're with, why you're here, really briefly, and just kind of go around the room real quick to build that stronger community. So today we are excited to feature freelancekit. Matt Blick is the founder and here to tell us what he's all about.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah. So once again, my name is Matt Blick with freelancekit. And what are we? We are business templates for freelancers, and specifically creative freelancers. So as you can tell on our website, we have, which is fairly small, so it's kind of hard to see, but we target, our niche market is filmmakers, photographers, and designers. And so that's really what we do. We're Mac pages and Microsoft template documents for freelancers. And so that's the gist of what we are. How that came about. So when I started my own website design company in high school, started that way and realized that I had a passion in film. So I was doing design work and then realized that no, this is my passion, this is my niche. And from that, turned it into a business to where I started doing filmmaking full time. And then over the years, I've been doing this for about 14 years and realized that I kept seeing creative freelancers over and over within 3 to 4 years stop, close their doors, and go off and go do something else. They were failing because they might have been great at photography, they might have been awesome at design, but they were terrible at running a business. Or they just didn't know what to do. So what we do is we provide resources for them. Business, we provide creative resources to where it helps them become more successful in what they do as a business. I was using these resources in my own business, and I said, well, shoot, my business is successful, I'm able to support myself, we're getting high-end clients, there must be something here. So I hired several people to take what I had in my business and use them and turn them into something that was overly designed well for anybody who wanted to use them. And so as I talk with other groups, other 1 Million Cup groups, one thing I keep telling them is that these are resources that I still use in my business. They're not something that like, oh, that's a cool idea. Let's make it and let's see what happens. See if anybody buys them. And no, this is something that I still use in my business. I use it when I run my own video production company. And so they are something that you can definitely use and become successful in your business. So what are they in terms of going deeper into the kits? They are tailored for, like I said, our target market. But they're anywhere from invoices to estimates, but also scheduling. So, when you talk to prospective clients, you reach out to somebody. Well, everyone's busy. You send one email. Years ago, I would send a client one email, and I'd be like, okay, they'll get back to me. No, they're busy. They get 100 emails a day. You guys know that, and you need to reach back out to them. You need to find creative ways. Don't just spam them. Find creative ways to reach out to them. So we have a resource that prorates, okay, if I contacted them on March 1st, when do I contact them next? And it tells you what to do. Also, we have a schedule for a project. So if you're a designer, here are some steps to go through as a designer with your project. Also, if you're a filmmaker, same thing. Okay, I talked with a client this first time, this is what I'm going to do, and then you go from steps from there. We have other resources such as a contract or a limit license agreement. So if you have a client that comes to you and says, hey, we like the product, you finish it for us, and we signed a contract for this use within our company, but now we want to take it. For example, I had a photographer, she's like, well, I have people that want to put my stuff up in a museum or something like that. I said, okay, well, the limit license agreement would be great for that. It's a one-time use deal. Anything from those aspects to storyboards. So if you're a filmmaker, storyboards are huge. Also, we have a location release or a depiction release. So if you're a photographer, those are super helpful, or a filmmaker. for me, with the legal aspects, with my own business, and a lot of creatives do this, to where you start out like, oh, I'm gonna just change the world with my videos, and you're like, oh, yeah, I should probably have a contract. And a lot of creatives don't even get to that point. They're like, yeah, we'll just do the work. So you start copying and pasting things, find things from Google, you put it together, like that will work. No, it doesn't. Not when you have to actually go and present it to a possible client that has an issue with you or your product. It's not going to hold up. And so these are pieces that I've used within my company. I've had my lawyer go through them before my own company, and then I said, okay, I'm starting this business called freelancekit. We need to have these legal for freelancers in these avenues to use. Not just my own filmmaking business. I said, okay. So we went through them, and that's where they are now. So there's many aspects to the resources, what are in them. They also provide, basically, when it comes down to it, I have guys that I hire within my video company, and I say, hey, send me your invoice. And they're like, okay, here you go. Well, what they send back is an Excel spreadsheet. I'm like, well, no wonder you don't get the high-end clients, because as I tell people, I said, your brand is not about your finished product. It's not about your video. It's not about your photos. It's about how do you conduct yourself when you talk to clients. What do your business cards look like? What do you do when you talk to people on phone calls? What does your invoicing look like? What do your contracts look like? It's your overall brand. And if you want to reach those high-end clients, to match where your end product is, you need to have a unified brand in all that you do. And so these resources, this kit, think of it as a starter kit for a freelancer or a starter kit for a small business. So obviously, if you have 5 people or more in your company, you're not going to need this, because you're probably going to have an accountant, you're going to have a COO or CEO, and you're going to have people in place to take care of your business. But this is for someone who is a one-man band, or they may have two people. It allows them to get their feet off the ground to get started and realize, okay, this is what I need to get a leg up in the business and go higher and better in what we do. And so with that, so they're templates, and they are edible, so not edible. You can edit them. I always do something during my talks to get people to laugh, so there's a Freudian slip, right? So you can edit the colors, you can edit the logos, you can edit anything in the templates. And so the reason why is because, you can do a subscription model, you can create software, you can create an app to do whatever you want, and that is the way to go. But as I was building the company, I was like, okay, no, I want something where we can get 2 freelancers as quickly as possible. If we want to get to the one-man band, we want to get to these small companies to where this is going to be available for them right away. They can brand it for their own company. So you can change the logos, colors. I always tell people, look at it as a foundation for your business. You can, as a creative myself, I love to tweak things to death. I love cameras, so I love buttons. I love to change the button functions. I love to just manipulate things as much as possible. So even if I bought these resources, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to move this picture here. I'm going to do this here. I may change the font this way for my own brand. So that allows creatives not only to run a business, but also be creative with their resources. So anywhere, another resource we have is a product proposal. So, for example, when I have a client that comes to me and says, hey, Matt, we want you to shoot these 3 videos for us. It's like, okay, great. So I put within my proposal pitch, basically, I have those 3 videos. I have thumbnails for the style that I think they should go after, and it may be, oh, hey, look at this Nike commercial. This is, I think, the direction we should take this. But not only do I have those 3 videos, I may have 1, 2, or 3 other ideas for them. Said, hey, have you thought about doing this? There'll be a little description of what it is, and maybe some other pictures to give them an insight to the style we're going for. And so things like that, I've had other creatives come back and say, hey, we use that with our business, and now we're getting bigger clients. People are getting an idea of what we're wanting to propose to them. There's a lot of creatives that you got it all up here, you know what you want, but when it comes to the client, they're not a creative, they're hiring you for a reason. And so then that gives them an idea as to, okay, that's where their vision is. That's where they want to take it. I've had over the years, I've had my own company where, you've got this great idea and you tell them, like, okay, that's a cool 60-second commercial, all right. But then if you show them, hey, look what IKEA did, look what Nike did, look what Under Armour did, like, oh wow, okay, yes, now we see where you're going. And so that's what we do, where these resources take creative freelancers to the next level in terms of their business. Question for you guys, who all is actually a creative here? Oh, that's awesome. All right, that's more than usual. Yep. And so I would love to hear from you guys, well, and anybody else here in the room, kind of any questions you may have, but also would love to hear your experience and how you've kind of seen resources help you, or maybe you've had some pain points, you're like, oh, I wonder how this would fit into my business.
All right, so I think what you're doing is actually really cool. So I've done a lot of freelance stuff, and I've established all this stuff on my own. I think everybody that goes into something like this does that at some point. But one of the things I was going to ask you about is, one of the things that is really hard for people to really understand where you're going is how to actually communicate their product and what they have to the actual client. So the client doesn't speak the same language. So when you go to the client with like a proposal of something to do, just gonna go over their head. And it takes a while to really get that language down, to figure out how to actually communicate to the client in a proper way. So with what you have here, have you thought at all about putting any education in there about actually bringing these ideas across?
That's a great question. So basically the question was, have we thought about producing educational pieces? Quick answer, yes.
Yeah.
Long answer, that is something down the road that we are focusing on getting freelance kit out to people and really getting the word out about what we do. That is on the horizon, yes. Because there is a lot of people that come our way and they're like, these are great, they're awesome. I know what to do with an invoice, but what's the best way to pitch my proposal? What's the best way to talk with the client or reach out to the client? Yeah, you have a template for an email to reach out to, but what's the best way to word it in there?
I've got a question about the pricing model.
Yes.
As a beginning creative, sort of, whatever. That's not the important part. Anyway, I'm trying to keep my expenses as low as possible. So why, is it affordable for beginner, or is it like you gotta be a little bit beyond beginner? Or how are you trying to reach those people to convince them that they should spend the money on you as opposed to trying to figure out themselves?
Exactly. Great question, by the way. Because every freelancers always think about, okay, how can I save as much money as possible to be productive and to watch my costs. So with that, we actually, if you think about, for example, just take a contract. When you hire a lawyer, you'll spend anywhere from $150 to $500, depends on what kind of lawyer you have, per hour. You can buy the whole kit for $350, or you can buy one contract for $25. And it's, yes, and this is what we tell people, because we've had people say, well, hey, I'm in Wisconsin, or I'm in Iowa, or I'm in Hawaii, is this gonna work for me? And it says, yes, you have the foundation here, but we still put in the fine print that you still need to go to your own personal lawyer and have him check it to make sure that it fits within the contract that you're using in your situation. So it eliminates the several hours of having your lawyer produce it. Instead, you have it for $25, and it should only take your lawyer about an hour to take care of fixing everything it does within the contract. So in the end, you're saving yourself long-term with these resources. And when I tell people, obviously a lot of people will say this because they're selling a product, but look at the savings you're gonna have down the road. Look at how you're going to get the bigger clients. Don't think of it as, okay, this is $350, but think of it, if I can go from a client that pays me $1,000 for a video, suddenly I can then get $10,000, get $15,000. You're suddenly being more profitable in your business. Hold on, we had a guy over here.
Well, I'm not a creative, so I'm going to interrupt. I feel like a creative in that I'm an entrepreneur now. So I've had I'm a branding guy, but running the business has been the biggest challenge, and I've pieced together a lot of things in a similar fashion using software as a service for my accounting I did a year's worth of bookkeeping in 2 hours. For proposals, another one for, and so I pieced together a lot of things that you're bringing together, and I can see that even as a value to a non-creative, or pushing that onto the freelancers I'm working with, so they can get more done quicker. And the last comment I'll make for feedback, and I know you've thought of this already, but there's university folks in the room now too, and I'm seeing a lot of, a lot of students, just like your situation, while you're still in school, you're starting to, kick tires on your own businesses and whatnot, and this would totally raise the bar in that, younger space.
Definitely.
The part, Eli brought it up a little bit as well, but I think part that people forget is that you have to pay taxes and you actually have to eat. Frequently people use a shoebox, okay, to try to figure out what this is. And so, have you thought about the quote-unquote dollars and cents aspects of this, which is what you brought up, because that's what can really kill you. It is, you bid out a project, you don't know whether it was profitable or not, because you really haven't learned the concepts, and they're not that hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, bankers are not the smartest people in the world, they just knew where the money was. Okay, so, there's nothing against being creative and financial too, because you need it in order to be creative. So are you thinking of trying to help from the financial side as well as legal and some of the other aspects?
Great question. So it's more of the financial side is, are you helping creatives in that regard? So within one of the resources we have is a cost sheet. So you basically put down, and this is what I do with every business, and every filmmaker does this, or anyone who owns a business, you have your line items for, okay, we have this kind of shoot day. Okay, so we have, a DP for one day, we have an AC for another day, we have all these aspects, we're running this camera for this, and this is what the price is, and it's for 1 day or 2 days, and it prorates everything out for what your hard costs will be. Then you go from there and determine, okay, what do we charge the client in terms of what's our producer fee on top of that, things in that regard. In terms of going deeper into the education, we're not there yet. We're basically giving resources to freelancers so that they can get off the ground just from the basics. Just from the basics is there's a lot of creatives that don't know how to quote properly. There's a lot of creatives that don't know how to talk to clients properly. They're sending invoices that look like crap, that have basically, a few numbers and their name at the top and an address, and that's it. So that is something that we will get to down the road. That I would say that lines up with the education side.
For your company, if one were to purchase things from you, is that the end of it? Or if there's gray area that's not covered in the material or whatever it happens to be, there's consulting?
Great question. Excellent question. So yes, it's a one-time buy, and that's why I said we're not a subscription model. So there are templates for you, because basically if we try to say, oh, subscription model, but yet we give you the resources, well then, I'll just end my subscription, But it's a one-time buy, and if for example, if Apple or Microsoft comes out with a new update for their software, to where it's a major update, we will update the resources, and it will send you an email through our app notifying you that, hey, these are available to download again, for you to be able to make sure that they stay current with your platform.
What does a year out or longer look like from a future vision standpoint? How do you need our help to get there?
That's a great question. So future, obviously, education. We talked about earlier. Also, would love to see this turn into an app, more of a platform on the browser. Because obviously, the quicker that you can turn these into PDFs to send to your client, send them through the app is going to be a game changer. So obviously, right now, yes, you're going in, you're changing your client's name, you're adding your description. That takes time, but like I said earlier, I wanted to get these products to the freelancers as quickly as possible without spending, $100,000 for an app. This is something that came funds out of my own business. That okay, I see a need in a niche, I'm going to start something.
Have you thought about adding tools for the actual freelancers so you can at some point move into a subscription model, give them a way to track their time, a way to organize their clients, any of that?
Great question again. I would say, yes, we've considered it, but we also want to be very cautious of what we do because there's plenty of time tracking apps out there. There's plenty of CRM management software stuff out there. So we're making sure that we know where our niche is. Does anyone listen to EO Fire, Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast? John Lee Dumas? Okay. He talks a lot about how go 1 inch wide and 1 mile deep. Don't go 1 mile wide and 1 inch deep with your products or your service. And that's what we're trying to focus on, is making sure that we narrow in on who our target market is and go extremely deep as possible for them, and not be all things to all people. But it's a great question. It's just more of, okay, there may be someone else out there that does a better job.
I found that I used to do lots and lots of photography, and I found clients very agreements with a lot of rights and things, very greatly depending on what town you're in, what city you're in, or what region, or if you're working at the high end of the market versus the lower end. You know, they would take, you get hired, let's say, for a day of photography, and then they all of a sudden own everything you shot that day, and they get to use it wherever they want, as much as they want. That was like the Milwaukee concept. Whereas in LA, it would be shoot something, and they paid for the day, and then if they used anything from the day, then they paid more. And then every time it got used, say as an ad in Time Magazine or something, I'd get another check. And whereas the Milwaukee people would be like, you know, get the hell out of here. And so you have to, your agreements, I think, would need to encompass, be able to encompass regional and local differences in practice.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And to that point, our contracts, we have a limit use contract and an unlimited use contract. So within my own company, I have, when I talk to clients, okay, is this for a basic use, limited use? So social media, websites, conferences, things like that. They want to take a national ad campaign, that's unlimited use. We also provide a buyout option too. So we have those 2 contracts. If you want something more, yes, obviously, you need to speak with your lawyer, you need to work on beefing up your contract. But like I said, this is for the startup freelancers who want to get into it, who don't have a lot of information, or they're copying and pasting things from the internet like I did 15 years ago, which is not helpful.
Okay, I have 3 questions.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
Okay.
How many have you sold? And why did you choose to use Microsoft and Apple products for creatives rather than distributing them through like InDesign and Illustrator?
Okay. So first question, how long? We started in November last year, so we're very new. How much have we sold? It depends on if you're talking about kits. I mean, there's a whole lot of things involved. We have right now on board, we're right about 22 users as of right now. We have a large email list, and we're always looking for affiliate partners to come on board, who I call ambassadors for freelancekit. So we connect with co-working spaces, other organizations, to work with them on getting into other cultures in Milwaukee, in LA, in Miami, things like that, to just not focus just solely on where we're at in Peoria. And the third question was, why
Why
the
Microsoft
platforms?
and Apple, yeah, versus InDesign or build it in the browser and print it out?
Exactly. So obviously, Mac Pages Mac Pages is on a Mac. If you buy a Mac laptop, it's already there. It's all ready to go. Microsoft people have Microsoft Word on their computers, and so it was more of here's platforms that are already there for the creatives, and so that's what we went with. Obviously, if you have InDesign, you have Creative Cloud, which I love it. But it was something that we wanted to use a platform that was as easy as possible for a freelancer to use.
You might want to just throw everything into Google Docs, by the way. I don't know if you're doing that,
Okay.
but I don't use Pages or Word or any of that.
Okay.
I use Google Docs.
All right.
So just as
Yeah. No. I appreciate it.
And there's some translation problems with it, because I built my business through Google Docs, and moving it back to Pages, things like that.
Oh yes.
Formatting.
Oh yes. Oh, we've had that issue with We designed them in Pages, and then we would export to Microsoft Word, and then we had to basically rechange everything and adjust it, and it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Hold on, we have a guy here, and then we'll get to you in the back.
Yeah, you were talking before about going an inch wide and a mile deep. What's your marketing plan to try to reach that mile deep customer?
That mile deep customer. So basically, like I said, getting connected where the freelancers go. Co-working spaces, bloggers, podcasters, things like that, where they have a wider reach and an audience to get into. So that is where we're targeting.
Okay.
Yeah, great question.
What's your competition in the space look like?
Competition in the space, so there are other companies out there. There's, for example, there's a photographer in Springfield, Illinois. She sells resources from anywhere from $50 all the way up to you can do her whole training series for $1,000 for the year. I bought a resource from her when I was going through, I was curious, like, okay, I want to see what she offers. She's just photographers. And she had a resource for $100. 4 pages, that was it. And it was basically, the value was on 1 page, that was it. There are other companies out there, LegalZoom, for example. You can spend anywhere from 10 to $15 on average on a resource, and all it is a Microsoft doc with text. That's it. So the value that we bring is not only do you have that text, but it's designed well to where your brand is put up a notch to where you come to your clients. It's like, okay, this is why you charge what you charge. This is why it's worth going to you, because you care this much about your contracts, your invoices, everything else that comes into play, your scheduling, things like that, your pitches. And so that's where we provide, the positive side for resources.
And as a consumer, how do I know that prior to buying the package? Is there, and I see.
Great question.
How do I know?
Yes, so if you click on no signal, all right. If you go to the website, freelancekit.com.
Your computer fell asleep.
Oh, that's fine. I talked too much. All right, there we go. So if you click on one of the resources, there's a video for product proposal, production guide, things like that. You can also go to our YouTube channel and you can see a video, a 30-second commercial on every resource that's there. So that gives you an insight to what's in the resource. Because that was one thing we had when we first launched. People were like, we love what you're doing. We see kind of a basic overview description in one picture, but we kind of want to know what's in it. I said, oh, I completely get that. So when we talk with our affiliate partners, they're allowed to see what's inside of them. The commercials give you an insight into what's in them. You can also, on the website, scroll down to the bottom, sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get 2 free resources as well.
Another resource that you may want to research a bit is QuickBooks used to have a document service. And they actually shut it down, but it was great. I have no idea why they shut it down, it doesn't make any sense to me. But I used it a lot when I got started. And it would actually walk you through a bunch of questions, and you fill in your answers to the questions. And it was about your business and what are you doing. And then it would just automatically fill in the document and then give it to you as like a Word document or a Google Doc or whatever you want, PDF. So thinking about maybe doing something like that might help you a lot, because with this, you have the templates. It's probably pretty easy for somebody to figure out where to put the stuff. You could really kind of turn it into an automated process of just fill in some questions about yourself and then here's your document.
Exactly. You got some good ideas. I like that.
You also want to think of freelancers union.
Say that again?
The freelancers union.
Okay.
They
Yes.
started in New York, and they're in a number of cities.
We're actually in talks with them right now.
Good.
So we have a phone call with them on Friday to talk more. So, yeah. Anybody else?
How would a partnership with Freelance Union or somehow being an affiliate of 99 Designs, what does that take for you? Do you have to revenue share with
Yes.
them? Okay.
So they get a percentage off everything that sells through their unique links that they send over.
So you were mentioning, I've heard kind of 2 different things with respect to the content versus the layout and design of the content. So you talked about kind of the importance of the content itself, and that's what they're getting, that's legal stuff, but you want it nicely designed. But then you also talked about how you anticipate the users probably tweaking and changing that and branding it and all that kind of stuff. I'm still hung up on this Microsoft and Creative Cloud thing. Any creative isn't going to customize that in Word. They're not going to customize that in Pages. They're going to customize it in some sort of Adobe software. Or they're going to customize it online or whatever, because they don't like those pieces of software. So I'm thinking that chances are they would grab that, take content, and bring the content into something else to reformat and do their creative spin on it. What have you seen your clients actually do with it?
Great question. So yes, obviously they can copy and paste it and put it into whatever platform they want to. Yes, it's available to them. We've seen people use the resources with the actual platforms that they're in because they're already on the computer. Like I said, our target market is those, the freelancers who are by themselves or they're a very, very small company and they just want to quickly get in there and boom, we're done, export, let's go.
Brian, I don't think you keep your invoices or legal contracts in InDesign. Makes no sense. I mean, you can't even communicate with your customers with those documents, really.
Well, no.
Well, invoices, no.
Yeah, so here, hold on here.
Yeah,
so in that regard, that's where you use the platform to edit your resources.
Sure.
You're always going to export to PDF.
Of course.
So whether it's InDesign, whether it's Pages, whether it's Microsoft, so you're going to export that way and send them the PDF because I sure don't want my clients having the InDesign file and then tweaking it to death. Shoot, then I got to read through everything, make sure they didn't change something. So that's why you always export to a PDF.
Coming up on 10 o'clock, so
All right.
the last question that I always ask presenters at 1 Million Cups is what can this community do to help FreelanceKit and you as an entrepreneur?
Great question. So what can you guys do? The major one is getting the word out. We are always looking to connect with other, as I said, ambassadors, people who are connected with large groups of freelancers, creative freelancers. That is who we're looking for to bring this to a wider audience. So that would be the best and most helpful way to help out. Otherwise, other than that, it is, I really appreciate you guys and your input, educational resources and just other things that you guys have shared. Great ideas, appreciate it. But yeah, just getting the word out is huge. We're always looking for ways to get into a new audience, to present it to another 1 Million Cups audience, or also getting into a startup community, or get to Freelancers Union, for example. Always looking for ways to be connected and get connected with freelancers.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks so much, guys.
A few notes before we adjourn. Thanks to Jake Price from One Page Accounting, who provides the coffee every week. Thanks to Brian from Little Studio Creative, who does the video, and Ward 4 for hosting us. And just a reminder, if you have a startup, no matter what stage it's at, we'd love to have you present here at 1 Million Cups. So our website is 1millioncups.com/Milwaukee. I'm sure all of you know that, but please check it out and apply to present. And we'll see you next week. We've got Andrea presenting bid rides, so look forward to that. We'll see you all next week. Thanks.
Matt, one more thing. One more thing, guys. If you do want to buy the resources or know someone who would like to buy them, use the coupon code 1millioncups MKE, and I'll give you 10% off on anything you guys buy. So thanks again for coming.
Thanks.